Okay, good morning, everybody. Good morning, and welcome to the 18th Appleton Space Conference, and our first face-to-face conference since 2019. I think I'm one of the very few people who can claim to have attended every single one of those 18 Appleton Space Conferences, and I'm delighted to be here standing at the front for the first time as the new director of RAL Space. So a big personal welcome to you all, and a big thank you for taking the time to spend it with us, celebrating the amazing achievements of the UK space sector today. We've got an amazing programme lined up for you today with a wonderful array of speaks, as usual, at the Appleton Conference. And I hope you make the most of a lot of the networking opportunities over the coffee breaks and the lunches that we have planned today. So this year has been a very exciting one for the UK space sector. A lot has happened, but it's also been a really exciting one for RAL Space as well. We are celebrating 3 birthdays. So, forget royalty, we have 3 birthdays, not just 2. So we celebrate our main birthday with the launch of Ariel 1, which happened in 1962, which we had an involvement with in the operations side, and then later in 1962 with the Alouette Canadian spacecraft as well. So that really marks the start of RAL Space. But we existed in some form or another many years before that. We've been responsible for continuous measurements of the ionosphere with the Ionosonde for almost 90 years now. And that constitutes the longest running data set using an Ionosonde in the world. And we're also celebrating this year the 55th anniversary of the opening of the Chilbolton Observatory, about an hour's drive south of here, which at the time was undertaking pioneering radio observations and is now still the world's largest steerable radar dish. So a lot to celebrate for RAL Space and a lot to celebrate for the UK space community. So a little bit about RAL Space. We are the UK's national laboratory, advancing the understanding of space and our environment for the benefit of all. I'm quite often asked the question, well, what is RAL Space? Are you academic? Are you industry? And it's a bit difficult to explain that we're somewhere in the middle. We're not purely academic. We're not here to make a profit. We sit in that space where we have creative excellence in our scientific data scientists and technology experts, where we're driving the science, but we're also underpinning the space sector by supporting all of you in your aspirations in what you want to achieve. So we operate somewhere in that twilight zone, trying to make the impossible possible for the UK space sector. So hopefully you will have all picked up our highlights brochure from 2022. A lot has happened, and in there you'll see a lot of the things that are important to RAL Space. But obviously there's a lot coming up as well. So in 2023, we will finally see the handover of the new National Satellite Test Facility to ourselves. This was a major achievement. It was an investment from the government with the requirements set by the community. So this is us responding to the needs of the community who said they wanted a one-stop shop to test satellites all under one roof to make it safe and less risky. So we have been undertaking this endeavour for the last few years. It's been quite a challenge over COVID, especially when our large space test chamber was ready to leave the shores of Italy just as Italy went into lockdown for COVID. And then it was delivered just as the UK went into lockdown for COVID. So there are lots of stories there. And I'm pleased to say that both Sean Stewart, who has overseen and project managed our involvement in the NSTF, will be here today in the coffee breaks. There is a mock-up of the NSTF, so you can ask him lots of questions about this. And Matt Fletcher, who will be operating the NSTF, is also available to speak to if you're interested in using the facility as well. But there's a lot more happening in 2023 for RAL Space as well, and it's an exciting year for all of us. So on to the conference. Obviously, you have your programme here. It's an eclectic mix of talks, as always, which makes this conference so exciting because there's such a diverse range of talks. But every single one of them is important to RAL Space as it is to the space sector as well. And it represents the things that are most important to us today. So I hope you enjoy the conference. I hope you get a lot out of it. And as I say, please network in the coffee breaks and the lunch break as well. Can I just ask, please check your phones and turn them to silent. I did that just before coming in. There is also to your right a laptop free zone. So if you're sitting in that area over there, please don't use your laptops. Otherwise, I'll be wandering menacingly and looking at you in a really mean way. Over here, please feel free to use your laptops should you wish to do so. And obviously, for those of you who are up on social media, unlike myself, please tweet. And if you don't tweet, there are many other platforms that we can use. Please talk about us as the day progresses using the hashtag Appleton 2022. I would like us to be the highest trending social media thing today. A few years ago, we were very unfortunate in sharing today with National Christmas Jumper Day. And we were beaten into second place by the National Christmas Jumpers. But fortunately, Christmas Jumper Day is next Thursday. So we should be okay. So let's get us to number one today. We have an amazing array of speakers today, and it's my absolute pleasure to chair the first session.